Hello and welcome back to my Astro Imaging Journey channel. I'm really hoping for some input from you guys and gals out there on some thoughts I had going forward here. But first, I want to give a shout out to the stepdaughter Tara. Love the t-shirt. Love it. You guys have seen Emerson Sky and Langdon Sky. Emerson, the Star Trails. Emerson Sky is at the beginning of the videos, and Langdon Sky is at the end of the videos. And Landon, every time they come over, he's a little gearhead already. He's not even 2 years old, and he just loves cars. And every time they come over and he sees the motorcycle out there, I've been riding for 25 years or so. So every time that they come out, they get out of the car and he looks in the garage and he sees the motorcycle. And hopefully I've got a picture of him sitting on it, but it's just the cutest little thing. So she got this t-shirt for me for Christmas. Best pawpaws ride motorcycles. So all right, so digressed enough. Thanks, Tara. Love it. So back to the subject here. Just finished editing M101 Pinwheel Galaxy, or pre-processing it. I believe it's episode 102, and you guys probably have already seen that. Not real happy, a lot of noise, and been toying with the idea recently and of switching over to a cooled camera, and I really want you guys' input on thoughts on camera manufacturer, sensor, and possibly even camera. Right now I'm flipping between one-shot color and mono. We do have a housing project coming possibly in the next couple of years. It just got approved by the county board, and it's going to be about 5 miles down the road, and 850 houses, 400,000 square foot shopping center. So my Bortle 4 skies aren't going to be Bortle 4 if the developer actually follows through with their plans. Of course, these plans have been in play for better part of 5 or 7 years now, but this developer seems to be a little bit more gung-ho, and with the way the economy is, and people moving back out into the suburbs. So I don't know. So for that reason, I'm kind of leaning more towards the mono, because if the light pollution gets a little bit too bad, then obviously narrowband will be more useful. And all right, sorry if there's a bad edit here. Had a phone call. So where was I at? Oh yeah, the light pollution. So with the narrowband, so if the potential increase in the light pollution in the nearish future, narrowband might be the way to go. Not super critical right now, so maybe the one-shot color will work fine for the next couple of years. And the one-shot color will be closer to what I'm doing with the DSLR, just be able to be cooled and more reduced noise profile. But then you have the fact that when you at least I'm hoping, I've heard on other channels and in some of my reading that when the moon's up and full. You can go narrowband and still image when the moon is doing its thing, and then save the luminance frames for when the moon's not so impactful. Um, if it's true, great. Um, Another pro for the mono and narrowband, uh, not sure. So still doing my research, still doing some things, but really would like to get your guys' feedback on what you guys think are the best camera manufacturer. Is it QHY? It's not so much the camera manufacturer. The sensor is your workhorse, but the manufacturer is the one that does the cooling and has the hubs in it and all that good stuff. So, who has the better cameras? Is it QHY? Is it ZWO? Is it Altair? And which sensor is better? Is it the 183 or is it the 164, 168, or what do you guys recommend? Um, you know, Still looking. I got a few that are in my short list right now, but I'm not going to give away manufacturers or anything because I don't want to skew your comments. But maybe you guys will bring up some points that will help me out. So, and to that end, we have back focus. I'm going to be working on some diagrams here shortly for another video. I'm really focused right now on getting the off-axis guider working, and if you remember from that video, right now between the flange on the Canon adapter to the Moonlight focuser, I'm at 31 millimeters, and the off-axis guider housing itself is right about 30 millimeters. So there's not much room to play, and I'm hoping the solutions I got are going to get me within the autofocuser travel as well as the primary focus mirror travel, so that I can at least get it working, because there's a few things that I want to test out, because I've been noticing a lot of drift. My data acquisition's going good. My guiding is as good as it can be given the guide scope and the fact that it's not an OAG, and I think I have my data acquisition, my sequencing, all that pretty well locked in. I'm getting good data out of the camera, meaning as good as I can get out of the camera. I've got my ISOs dialed in. I've got pretty much everything as far as how many exposures, my ISO, my exposure length. I pretty much have all that dialed in, and now I'm at the limitation of guiding could be better, so that's why I'm going with the OAG. And I know the sensor could be better, and I have another call coming in. One moment. All right, hopefully not another bad edit. Had yet another phone call. So it's a busy day for some reason today. I'm supposed to be on my lunch break. Anyways, yeah, where was I at? Okay, so yeah, hopefully mono, that whole thing. Yeah, I'm just not sure where I want to go with that stuff yet. Now the biggest obstacle right now is funding. So I've got 3 cameras in mind right now, and 2 of them are priced about the same, and then one is priced about 3 times, 2.5 times what these would be, and uh, either way, the lower cost might be able to get those by April. And irregardless, all of them right now are on back order. So, um, I got some time. I'm not going to have funds for the uh, cheaper, if we can call them that, cameras until probably April-ish time frame, and maybe May. So I've got a few more months to mull this over and come up with some ideas, and we'll see what happens. But like I said, I want to get you guys' input. Um, I mono, especially, and these dedicated cameras. It's there's a lot of information out there, but there's it's not like trying to compare um, traditional photography equipment where you've got thousands upon thousands of users and professional photographers that can provide feedback and have provided feedback to say, if you're doing X, then this camera is best for you. Or if you're doing Y, you might want to go with this over here. And if you're trying to do X, Y, Z, and A, B, and C, then you need to go over here. You know, there's a lot of that information out there for the traditional photography realm, but for astroimaging, there's a lot of good resources. Don't get me wrong, but it is definitely something that's relatively lacking when you're trying to do the research, and it just trying to look at all the specs and the pixel sizes and the sensor size and quantum efficiency and full well depth and all those different factors. It's a lot of information, and right now I would love to go with the more expensive. It's a full frame sensor, tons of pixels. Pixel size is about the same as what I'm using right now, which would give me larger imaging, a bigger slice of the sky when I'm imaging. Full well is over 50K. Quantum efficiency is pretty good. I forget whether it was over 80% or just over 60%. Can't remember. And but the big thing, 16-bit. Whereas the other two I'm looking at, they're only 12-bit. The full well is only 20K. Do I delay even further into the year and save up and just go for the big one? Or, big being price, or do I start a little bit smaller, go with the relatively, in the grand scheme of things, cheaper options, and learn off of those, and then switch in a couple of years? I just don't know right now, but I know where I was at before. Back focus. So squirrel moment. As far as those are concerned, still trying to figure out exactly what parameters I want to go with that will fit in a budget I can manage this year. Not going to say what my budget is because I don't want to bias anything. But back focus. So getting back to that, 31 millimeters was from the flange going into the autofocuser to the flange that goes to the DSLR, and hopefully I can get that OAG working. Settle that. The question is going to be is if I can get that working, then I know any dedicated camera is going to work. Because the DSLRs have a 44 millimeter, at least the model I have, has a 44 millimeter distance between the flange and the sensor. So, which seem, I'm gonna have to measure that. Let me be right back. Okay, so I just measured, and it's approximately 42 from what I saw on another camera, and the documentation I read said that the distance between the flange and the sensor was 44 millimeters for these DSLRs, the Canon EOS series. So, which, I'm sure their documentation's right, and from what I measured, it just seemed long, because I'm thinking that OAG, everything's like that long. Anyways, and most astronomy cameras or astroimaging cameras, the smallest I saw was 6.5. I think one was 13 millimeters. So I'm definitely going to be gaining some distance there. So if I can get the OAG to work with this DSLR and have enough travel for my autofocuser to work, then I will definitely be able to get the essentially just pop on the new camera when I finally decide on one and put it on there. I'll just be needing some spacers. So hopefully should work pretty well. Most of the cameras that I saw, at least their diagrams, already had all the spacing and everything needed if you had 55 millimeters of back focus. So the information's there, just looking for a little guidance. So please, if you have any recommendations, again, camera manufacturer, sensor, specific cameras, and the caveat here being I am using an SCT that is currently operating at 1960 millimeter focal length. So some of your smaller sensors is going to really mean mosaicing some of these targets. So 4/3 and APS-C is about the size I'm looking at as far as the sensor is concerned. So try to keep that in mind, that I don't want to go too small. But in one of the upcoming videos, I'm going to go over what I'm looking at, but that's probably going to be in another week or two before I get that one posted. So let me know what your thoughts are and what you'd like to see me go with, and why. I'd really like to not just see, oh, go with the QHY 183. Okay, tell me why. What makes that particular camera an optimal choice for my setup? 1960 millimeter off-axis guiding, autofocusing. What would make that camera, in your opinion, be the best option for what I'm doing? So, give me your recommendations, give me your thoughts, and hopefully we get some good feedback, some good interaction, and hopefully I can get the right camera, even if it's just a stopgap, sometime this year, and we can see if we can get some better images coming out of this stuff. So again, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please stick around for the outro. As always, clear skies. Have a good one. Thanks for watching yet another episode from the Astro Imaging Journey channel. Really appreciate your viewership. In our upper right, we have the latest video that I have posted prior to this one. Down in the lower right, we have what YouTube thinks you will enjoy. Below is a subscription link. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you so choose, ring that bell if you want to get notified of something new, and as always, thank you, clear skies. Remember, dude,